Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo!
Hello and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. This is another week of me coming at you without a microphone. I apologize. Moving, you lose things, you find things, and then you lose things again. But sidebar, I actually lost the key to my storage unit, and I just got the storage unit. So I guess of all the things to lose, I would say the wire for the microphone is not as serious as my storage unit. It's very annoying because then I have all these things that I want to put in storage and now that I'm organizing. Anyways, there's here nor there. So I just got off a incredible live video with Mary Rose, Danielle, Christina. These are the dietitians on the Tips with Tony team. And we talked about the do's and don'ts this holiday season. And Instagram is so fun in that they never let you download lives, which stinks. It's not nice at all. So what I'm about to do, let's hope that the audio is okay. But what I'm about to do is I'm about to play the video recording into these speakers in hopes that you can pick up the audio, because I just think that what we just threw down was so good and we don't have the time to replicate it. It is 6:50 p.m. tonight, December 12th. This is going out Tuesday, December 13th. This is my life right now. Okay. Anyways, hope this works. Love ya. And I'm not going to do a fancy outro at the end. That's it. Check the show notes for things that you need to know. Okay, here we go.
We have a free challenge, a winter wellness challenge, starting this Thursday, December 15th. It's an email challenge. So what that means is all you really need to do is create space, and then more in the beginning of the day, at some point in your day, 5 to 10 minutes max, to watch a video training from either myself or a member of the team. And you're going to be prompted with like quick little action items or things to kind of think about or to do to take action to build your healthy habits during the winter season when times are rough. We know that this is a time where it's cold, it gets dark early, we might not be motivated, but when you live a healthy lifestyle, you understand that you don't depend on motivation all the time. You actually depend on your habits in order to proceed to have change. So that's the whole purpose of the challenge. So if you're not signed up, make sure you go to the link in my bio to sign up, or you can reach out to myself, Chris, Danielle, or Mary Rose to get the link. So, hello. Okay, so we got Molly from Indiana. We got Mel from New Jersey. Candy from New York City. I love it. Okay, briefly, because some people might not know you guys. Maybe they don't know me. I'm Tony, by the way. You never know, right? So I'll introduce myself, and then we'll have Chris and Danielle introduce themselves really quickly. So I'm Tony, business owner of Diet Tips with Tony, where we ironically teach people how not to diet. We're helping you to break free from the all or nothing mentality and teaching you how to embrace balance instead. And so that is me and what I do, and I have the absolute pleasure of having incredible dietitians on my team to help serve that mission. So Christina, why don't you just share a little bit about yourself first?
Yeah, definitely. Hi, everyone. My name's Christina. I'm one of the dietitians on the team. So we do a lot of one-on-one counseling. I also do lives on the Facebook group page. So every Monday, this is actually the slot that I have it on that Facebook group every Monday too. So if you want to go and check it out, definitely feel free to do so. But essentially, I do a lot of one-on-one sessions with clients. We provide that individual nutrition care, right? And then we also focus on cooking. So a lot of my clients learn a lot about implementing those simple and effortless cooking techniques. That way they can improve their eating habits.
Yeah, love it. You definitely help with building confidence in the kitchen, that's for sure.
Your recipes are amazing.
Thank you.
I am Danielle. I am a registered dietitian on the Tips with Tony team and also the assistant. So I mostly do a lot of the back end work, manage like the podcast page, sending a lot of emails out, creating graphics from Canva, and just mainly like the back end work. But I also specialize in binge eating as well, so I'm super knowledgeable about
and he's been, so a couple things. First of all, Molly, if you're still here, I know you listen to the Shaun T podcast. For those who don't know, it is Danielle's magical behind the scenes work that got me on the Shaun T podcast. So that was amazing. I love him so much. We're friends now. Like, he likes my stuff, all my stuff. We're like actually friends. It's actually cool. We like chat regularly. It's very weird, but I'm obsessed with it. It's totally fine. So anyways, so Danielle does that. She also leading the group coaching program that we just started. And I kind of like told Christina, Danielle, and Mary Rose will be on in a minute a little bit about, you know, the vision for 2023. And I finalized it this weekend. And this is like fresh off. Like, I didn't even tell my team yet. So for those who are watching, it is the new vision for 2023 is the group coaching program, the one-to-one program, the course that we have, the Healthy Living Foundations course. It's all going to be in one. It's literally all going to be in one. I will be taking over the group calls, and then the three of them, Danielle, Christina, and Mary Rose, will be doing the one-on-one support. But with that, it just means that you get to see us pretty much every single week. You get me every week. You get someone on the team every week. So the amount of support that you're going to get in your one-to-one, in your nutrition journey, it's just like we're going to be pouring it into you. We're also going to be providing retreat days. So anybody that's inside the 6 Months of Food Freedom program gets a ticket for free. However, we will open up to other members if they want to join us in retreats that we'll be hosting for a year. So super exciting things for 2023. Sorry guys, I didn't tell you yet because I literally just finalized it on Saturday. And we're still working through details. You know, we're still working through it. But for those of you who are looking to change your lifestyle, change your health, get a little bit, you know, more clear on how you take care of your body and do it on a consistent basis, you definitely want to be a part of that journey for 2023. So we'll let you know how to be a part of it, you know, as time gets closer. But for now, let's teach you some things. Okay. So some do's and don'ts this holiday season. Let's start with what not to do. I feel like when we talk about what not to do, then we can give advice on like what to do. So, Christina, why don't you start off by sharing what is like one of the number one things you think should not be done during the holiday season?
Neglecting any type of self-care. I am always such an advocate for self-care, whether it's doing something to just catch a breather. This is such a hectic time too. Everyone's trying to get their work done at the end of the year. You might have a little bit of pressure from the boss, right? We're getting pressure from family members, loved ones, friends. You're constantly in and out. And we can get into that cycle where we're constantly neglecting spending at least 30 minutes with ourselves, whether it's hydration, sleep, maybe it's getting some stretching in or a workout in, or even like your favorite food, right? So definitely don't neglect yourself.
I love that. I think that's such a helpful tip because it is such a stressful time of year, right? Like you said, there's so many moving pieces, and self-care really is not selfish. And I feel like we talk about this a lot, but we always have to remember that we have new people watching, and even though we can say it, not everybody like understands it, right? So you can like conceptually hear it and like get it, but until you practice it, you won't really ever understand what we're actually saying, which is when you take care of yourself, and it doesn't have to be, you know, a lavish, they're amazing if you go for like a massage and a facial and like you have the whole day, right? Those are great. But the reality is those little things, like Chris just gave really little examples of like just eating a good meal, like eating your favorite food, or taking, like going for a walk or journaling or hydrating with water. Like these are the little acts of self-care that really do help fill your cup. And then we'll just, not that the stress ever goes away, right? It's a hectic time. It's a stressful time. It's still going to be there, but you're just going to learn how to manage it better. So super great. I'm so glad that you started with that, because I feel like people thought we were going to start with a nutrition tip, and like, no, because when you take care of yourself, then everything else will usually fall into place. Your cravings won't be all over the place. Your hunger will be more in check. You'll be more calm. Like there's just so many great things that come when you put yourself first. So I absolutely love that. All right, Danielle, what is something that we should not do this holiday season?
We should definitely not skip meals or, restrict calories in preparation for any holiday meal that is coming up. I see that so often, and especially with binge eating, like we do not want to do that, because that will only promote these binge eating behaviors later on throughout the day. So it's super important to not restrict and eat consistently throughout the day, even if you have a meal later on at night.
Yeah, well, because I think the whole concept is like, because maybe you're going to, like, holiday parties are really popular this time of, like, year, right? Or maybe, like, people are making more, like, indulgent treats and stuff like that. And so the concept is, well, I should save my calories, right? I should wait so I can make room for it. But we know that will almost always backfire, right? So it's understanding that it's okay to have those foods that maybe are a little bit, you know, more indulgent, or, you know, maybe they're not made with, like, the fat-free Cool Whip or something, you know, like, you know, they're made with the full fixings and all that, and it's okay to understand you can have that. However, if you go into an environment or a party starving or really hungry or, you know, really irritable or whatever it is, like, your chances are you're going to then over consume those things, and that's when you start to not feel well. That's when it makes it harder to get to your goals, right? It's not that you had the cake, it's that you had the entire cake because you thought you should have the slice of cake, right? So that's the whole concept. So yeah, absolutely love that. So okay, so far, for those who are just tuning in, we're talking about do's and don'ts for the holidays. One thing not to do is neglect self-care. So the reverse opposite of what to do is to take care of yourself in the little things. The other thing what's not to do is don't skip meals. So we want to make sure that we're eating balanced meals. So maybe you guys can kind of share a little bit more of, like, what a balanced meal actually looks like, so that people, because I think a lot of times too, they hear, well, like, I'm not eating a meal, but then they still wonder why they overeat at night, or they're so hungry. And it's like, I think often their meals are not full meals. So can one of you guys explain what actually makes a meal a meal?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay.
Just to piggyback on that. So one thing that I kind of counsel my clients is that willpower method. So it kind of recaps what you mentioned right now. It's, you know, you're in the office, you see a big bowl of candy, and you're just kind of using that willpower. I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to walk by it. I didn't work out today, so that means I can't have it. Or if I have this one piece of candy, you know, I'm going to have to earn it back in the gym. So what happens is we're having that restrictive mindset. We're labeling things, and then we're going to actually desire it even more. And then when we do eat that candy or that thing that we restrict, we're essentially feeling like we're rebelling against ourselves. So it's going to make it a lot tastier than it actually is. It kind of creates a chemical message in our brains where we're actually releasing more dopamine than we should be when we're eating that food. So when it comes to having a balanced meal, again, we always want to incorporate different food groups. So this is always some type of a carb, some type of a protein, some type of a color, you know, healthy fat. We're incorporating different parts, even if it's something that you might not necessarily deem as nutritious, right? Think about a slice of pizza, right? Essentially, we have the carbs and we have the fat. We're missing a little bit of color. So whether you want to have a side salad with it, if you want to have vegetables on the side, or have steamed broccoli on the side, add a little bit of protein. That way you're still eating those foods that you like. You're not having that willpower method where you're absolutely not allowing yourself to have it, but you're incorporating more of those nutritional dense foods with that calorie dense food as well. So having that balance is really important, because then we feel satisfied. Another thing I like to talk about is there's a difference between hunger and appetite, and then there's also a difference between feeling full and satisfied. So we have to make sure that, you know, I can have chicken, broccoli, and rice, and I'm going to be full, but I'm not going to be satisfied from it because I really want the pizza. So what am I going to do? I'm going to incorporate different parts of both concepts. That way it's balanced and I'm feeling full and satisfied at the same time, instead of going to maybe a potential binge, or, you know, this is that nighttime snacking that comes into play as well.
Oh, so that was such a great way of explaining it, Chris. Thank you so much for doing that. I see Mary Rose is here. Mary Rose, can you come in here? Press request join. Then it'll be all four of us, and it'll be so exciting. I want to circle back to, Chris, to what you said about the willpower method. It's not a method. It doesn't work. There's no such method, because I believe methodology means it works. Relying on willpower is a lie. We're either choosing it or not choosing it. And at the end of the day, that's where you get it. I want you guys to feel, our jobs here is to make you feel empowered, to know that you are making choices for yourself. So it's not about willpower. It's about choosing, do I want it or do I not want it? It's not waiting to, hoping like, oh, I just, it's like waiting to be, you had a good, the way you explained it was way better than I'm trying to right now. But I'm also trying to accept Mary Rose in here. I keep trying to do two things at once. It's not working. My brain does not work that way. Mary Rose, I'm trying to let you in. I'm pressing accept and nothing's happening. Stuff going away. Do you guys get an invitation?
There's a little button you can press like in the chat that says request to join. So Mary Rose, if you see that, just
doing it. She's doing it. I'm pressing accept and it's not letting me accept her. Let me do invite to join. Let me try it that way. Mary Rose, I'm going to invite you back. Now you press accept and maybe that'll work. Oh, no. It says she's unable to.
Maybe 3 is the max.
Oh, that would be so upsetting. Oh my God, that would be so upsetting. We thought...
Yes! So crazy. It's fitting for the day that I'm having, so perfect.
It worked though! Oh my God.
Hi, ladies. Hey.
Okay, let's catch you up to speed. And by that, I mean I want you to introduce yourself to everyone just briefly, and then I'll catch you up, and then, we'll go from there.
Okay. Hi, I'm Mary Rose. I'm a dietitian with this great team with Tips with Tony. So I'm very happy to be here. So do we have any questions or any comments, or what are we chatting about?
So this is what we're up to speak with. So we decided to go with the do's and don'ts this holiday season. We're starting with what not to do, because then that usually tells us what to do.
Yes.
Chris mentioned what not to do is neglect self-care, which I thought was so good, because it's your time of year, so it's so stressful. Danielle said not to skip meals, which we know is terrible. And then we just went on to talk about like this whole concept about like willpower and how it doesn't exist. And if you're using that as your methodology, you're going to fail, because it's not, to me, I think when you say methodology, it means it works. I don't even think the word willpower method, I don't even think the method should be in that, because it's not real. So anyways, that's what we were talking about. Anything that if you want to comment on that, or if there's another holiday tip of what not to do this holiday season, what would that be?
Yeah. Well, I think it's just, enjoying yourself. And food is an important part of it. But just remember, it's also the people who are there, too. Enjoy them, too. Step away from the food a little bit. Give yourself a little breather and chat with people and see what they're doing.
So the don't would be don't make it all about the food.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. And that really is, yes, the holidays are about the food, because it can be about part of it. It's part of it, but it's not all of it.
Right. Exactly.
And I think for those of you who are watching this and you're saying to yourself, like, but food is all I think about and it's all consuming, well, that's where you need, I'm going to be blunt, you need help with healing. That's it. Like, you can't expect to be able to heal your relationship with food on your own and trying to get away from that, because if it's all you're thinking about, you need someone to communicate with on a regular basis to help you to change your mindset and to change your thought pattern and to bring you to a healthier place and to help you to understand what that is. So the other thing that I thought would be super helpful with today was not just talking about the do's and don'ts of the holidays, but I know each of you guys work with a client. We'll keep names out, but my guess is I know that when I used to have before you guys helped me out and I had a very large client load, I would notice that there was themes. So it was I coached 7 different clients that day, but 6 of them had the same issue, right? And then we were working on the same thing. So what I thought would be helpful for the listeners is if there's anything coming up in your current sessions with clients that you've been paying attention to, and kind of talk through how you've been helping them through that as a way to kind of maybe help some of the watchers. I was going to say listeners, and I'm hoping I can use this for a podcast, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. So anyone want to jump in and share? Go for it.
I'll step in. So
I was going to call on someone.
Common theme in the last, I want to say about 3 months. 3 months has been, clients have been in and out. They've been graduating. They've been extending. But a common theme is, especially around the holidays, is self-image, right? Our body image. Sometimes I have clients who say, I never really thought about this unless I had comments said about this, and now it makes me feel insecure. And especially with the holiday season, there's so many positive parts of it, right? You're spending time with friends, family, there's the food, there's everything so beautiful, decorations, Christmas movies if you celebrate it. And just in general, it's supposed to be a very happy time. For a lot of people, it can also be a dark time because of their interactions with those people around. And it's kind of putting your foot down and maybe having a conversation and saying, listen, it makes me uncomfortable when you bring this topic up, or this is currently something that I'm working on, or it's just how you view yourself. We have exercises that I always counsel clients to do. Okay, so these are the parts that I might be slightly insecure or unhappy with, but what are they actually doing for me in the day-to-day? That's a very big exercise I always do. What are my legs doing, right? They help you move. I get out of bed. I'm independent. What are my arms doing for me? And it kind of takes a lot of practice to get to that point where you're shifting your mindset. But again, those comments didn't kind of turn you bitter or insecure right then and there, right? It takes time, and as much as that builds up, that self-confidence has to build up too. So it's also seeing your environment, changing the way that you shift your body, and also what you're being influenced with, right? Sometimes you have to put your foot down. Sometimes you have to unfollow or block people, which is perfectly fine. And for mental health's sake too, sometimes you really do have to click the block button. I've learned this too recently, and it's just been so much easier because that weight really melts off.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I would agree with you. I think this time of year, because you're seeing people that maybe you don't see all year round, and now you're seeing them. And unfortunately, I feel like family feels like it's okay to comment on your body, or I feel like the two questions always are, oh, it looks like you lost some weight, or like, oh, are you, they want to know like what diet you're doing, or or like, oh, it looks like you put on a few, like you're all right there. Like they think they're funny, but it's ridiculous.
I've had this similar conversation like a few weeks ago for Thanksgiving, and it just got to the point where I was like, okay, well, I didn't want to talk about this.
Yeah, you have to set up those boundaries. So yeah, I definitely think, so what Chris was saying, for those who are just tuning in, like body image stuff comes up a lot around this time of the year. And I think it's important that you're putting what she just described as like saying what your body can do for you. It's more like neutralizing it rather than putting it on this like that your body on a pedestal that has to look a certain way and be a certain way. It's just understanding that it's a body and it's working for you. And we have to start to kind of like desensitize yourself from thinking it's like this big grandiose thing that you need to change. It's just, you have a body. If you need to say, please don't comment on my body, practice that in the mirror over and over again. And then just do some journaling around like coming from a place of gratitude, because it definitely will help you through the healing process. It's a process, guys. It's not gonna you're gonna journal about it and you're gonna be better the next day. Like, it's a process, but maybe do that for the next 30 days and see how your body image changes, for sure. Something else for 2023 that I have on my heart that's going to be, I think, in the earlier stages, actually two things, but I'm going to say one of them, is we're going to definitely host a body image healing workshop for sure. I think I'm going to launch it. I think we're going to do it in probably, I don't know, early January, February, I don't know yet. But yeah, I think it's needed. It's very much needed. And so I think creating like a space where people can feel safe. I know we did like a body confidence challenge last year, which was very popular, but I think we need to create an intimate space. I'm thinking 3 sessions where we're really workshopping, where is this, disordered body image coming from? Where did the comments start? What happens if you lose the weight, gain the weight, stay the same, like really get into the grit of that. And then kind of just cultivating how to care for your body, but also not it be like this overarching, I need to change it in order to be loved and accepted by the world. Right. So more exciting things for 2023. Okay. Anything else coming up in sessions more recently with clients, maybe Mary Rose or, sorry, I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and it's the worst thing when you forget to do that.
I have to say that I totally agree with Christina. I see the same thing, but don't you feel like that body image there's like seasonal body image? issues per season. And this season, it's always the eating, but it's also just what Christina said, like the relatives, like some of my clients don't even want to see half of them because they don't want to deal with their comments, and they know what's coming and they know who's going to be commenting and what's going to be said and about what they put on their plate and what they choose to eat. And it's just incredible how intense. So I'm really dealing with a lot of that, and just what you were saying, how to deflect all those questions and still be able to enjoy what you eat and do things like that. But it just blows me away how it's really seasonal, and winter, and we're doing that wonderful winter challenge, and winter is another issue all by itself, and then spring and then summer is so focused on the view of looking at yourself. Like, to me, it goes more inward than anything during summer, and then it comes out again. So it's just incredible, and working with clients to get them through all these different seasons is really it's very targeted per season, and it's also a good challenge, but my clients are up to it, and they've been empowered.
I think I'm really glad that you said that, Mary Rose, because it's true. Every season, I think there's a different way of handling it, and there's a different, communication style and what you're going to say when, it might be a comment on your bathing suit versus a comment on your food are two different types of comments, and navigating different, and depends on the person who it's coming from and how they say it, right? And that's where it is a little bit harder, I would say, to give general advice to people when it comes to dealing with comments from others, because for some people it might work and other people it won't. To just have the line of I do not receive that may or may not work depending on your family. Some of them might laugh in your face. Some of them might be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did that hurt you?" Some of that, it depends, right? But I think that's a really good point, that, definitely every season changes. But I think having somebody there to speak with about it is even more helpful, because then you can really talk about it, on a more specific basis, based on the family dynamic. Yeah. Danielle, anything you want to share coming up with? I know we're doing the group stuff right now.
I think in general, at the end of the year, I always see the all or nothing mindset. Just wanting to just go crazy on holiday treats, and just the Last Supper mindset. So they want it all at once. And then their thinking is, in the new year, I'll just start a new diet, which is the cycle of yo-yo dieting, which is not what we want to do. We want to find balance early at the end of the year and, have balance in our lifestyle instead of that all or nothing mindset.
Yeah. And as you were talking about that, it made me realize what I wanted to say when Mary Rose was talking about that our clients love the challenge, they're up for the challenge of all the comments. I think that's the place where people, it would be really helpful to reframe your mindset around this time, is looking at it as opportunity to learn how to navigate when things, maybe there aren't the healthiest options available, or maybe there are people around you that aren't your favorite people, or, it's, the food has a little bit more, it's made with the whole milk or the cheese or the butter or whatever it is, right? And it's learning how to eat those foods and enjoy those foods in a balanced way is the type of mindset that you need to go into in 2023 if you want to have consistency and you want to be successful. So I 100% agree with you, using this time as, instead of a screw it time or an F it time or, whatever it is, and more as a time of okay, it's going to be hard, right? It's going to be a challenge, like Mary Rose said, but I'm up for the challenge. I'm up for learning, because you know what? I've already been here for years of this place where I feel like absolute crap at the end of the night, at the end of the year, at the end of the month, frustrated that I'm not moving forward, frustrated that I don't feel good, frustrated that I don't have the energy, frustrated that my blood sugar levels are out of whack again, frustrated that I'm not getting my period, whatever it is, all of these things, feeling out of control around food, there's a saying, nothing changes if nothing changes. And so if you don't look at it as an opportunity for growth, if you're expecting to just have it figured out January 1st, well, I'm sorry to say, you're not going to have it figured out. And that's the reality that I think a lot of people need to hear, is that, you're not going to heal unless you do the work. And the work comes from trying to help have it be easy. The hard stuff is working through it. And the hard stuff is showing up to these places that maybe aren't the most comfortable, but you learn how to navigate it and you get through it and you pat yourself on the back and you're alive and you're breathing and you didn't have a meltdown or you didn't have to yell at somebody and scream at them or stomp and leave the table, right? You did it, you got through it, and now you have 364 more days before you have to go back to it. That is a better mindset. But yeah, so anyways, I want to be mindful of everybody's time. I told you we'll be here till 6:30 p.m. Eastern. It's 6:30 right now. If you're not signed up for the Winter Wellness Challenge, go to the link in my bio to do so or reach out to any of us here and make sure that you are signed up. We start on the 15th, so enrollment ends really, really soon.